it's Spence, the evil genius, from Widget Laboratory with your Lab Secrets tip of the day. Tonight we've released an update to the Lab Protect plugin that adds a new layer of functionality to an already powerful plugin. Let me give you an idea of how it operates and show you the improvements we've made. For those of you who've used Lab Protect, you know that basically allows you to have a level of permission control over the members on your site. This is in addition to the level of control that you have in other plugins over what's known as the role. So I'm over here in the admin dashboard and I'm in the users section. And basically this is where the Lab Protect really comes into its own. Basically in the standard WordPress or BuddyPress installation, each member has a role. Many of the other plugins allow you to use this role to control access to the various content on your site. Now that's terrific, but remember, get out your old multiplication, algebra, exponential tables here for a second. If you use the role as the only way to control content, that gives you one level. Now, with the Lab Protect, we give you a second level. We give you a new type of thing called a permission. And in that level, you now have the ability to take different roles and apply different permissions. And remember, 3 times 3 is 9, exponential. That means now you can make things go exponentially more intricate as you need. For example, let's say in Lab Protect, you want to have site content that is, let's say, not available to somebody who signs into your site. But once they sign in, it is available. But let's say once they've signed in, you've got people who join your site from various organizations. Maybe you want to make it that if they're from one organization, they see one kind of content, and from another organization, they see another kind of content. With Lab Protect previously, you could do that, and we showed you in the videos that even though they have the same role, you can differentiate out the content by various types of permission. Now, we're taking it one step further in this update by making the default level of permission called registered user. Now, the reason we did that was that many of the people who were using our original version of Lab Protect said, you know what, your plugin is so great and so easy to use with that WYSIWYG editor, we'd like to use it as the only source for protecting our content. And the problem at the time was that you had to go ahead and either manually set a member's permission level, or that member had to buy a subscription through PayPal in order to trigger it. Now those troubles are gone, because with the new version, by default, somebody who registers for your site will already be assigned a base level of permission. That means that you can go ahead and have your Lab Protect starting to work for you from the minute that somebody signs into the site, and then you can still add the updates. Now the second update we've made is over here. When I go over to Lab Protect, and in this particular demonstration, I don't have the checkbox, but I want to show you that it's going to be kicking in here. When I click on Lab Protect, you remember from our previous videos that basically you're able to set the levels of permission. So I can go ahead and set any level I want over and above registered user. That's that new baseline. Now, the real key here, though, is with the messages. We're going to be adding a level of permission with a checkbox next to each of these users. That means that you can decide whether or not you want to display that custom message without having to use CSS. So for example, let's say you go ahead and you want to have a dialog that says to non-registered users, hey, this is content you can't see unless you join our site. But once they join your site, maybe you don't want to go ahead and put a message in their face that says, hey guys from the marketing department, there's content here you can't see because you're not in the advertising department, or you're not in the accounting department, or you're not in the shipping department. With the new permission levels message option, you'll be able to go ahead and selectively decide whether or not to display the custom message to various permission levels. Once we've got this in play, I'm going to go ahead and give you a use case in the next video on how you can go ahead and build a very powerful monetization site for a nightclub. That's in our next video coming up at labsecrets.com.